All right, what's happening? What's happening, guys? Happy Tuesday to you. It's Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. And this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about the power of training your people. You know, if you've got a business, even in your family, in a lot of cases, these things will line up. But the power of training your people, guys, is immeasurable. We're going to talk about some of the highlights of what happens when you invest into those people. You pour into those people, you don't hold anything back, and you create the right scenario for people to be able to thrive and grow. So let's get started on that topic this morning.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right, what's happening, guys? Happy Tuesday to you. Man, I hope you guys are having an awesome week. I'm off to a great week here. I got a lot done yesterday, got a lot on the plate today to get moving, and looking forward to that. This morning's topic, I think, is one that we talk about quite a bit. You know, in the world of self-development, in the world of business, we talk a lot about training people, the power of training your people, kind of what that looks like, what happens when we do it right, what happens when we do it wrong, what happens when we fall short of the expectation that people have, for our companies to provide the information necessary for them to be successful. But there is a massive, massive amount of power in training your people properly, right? In the concept of how you train your people, what that looks like, how much effort you put into it, what level of detail, how much communication there is, just everything with regard to training your people. And again, this doesn't just apply to business. In a lot of ways, parenting is very similar to, how you kind of handle things in the business world. Those things kind of tip over and, go into the family structure as well. But, what happens when you actually do it right? And that's the question that we're going to answer this morning. What happens when you do it right? And then we'll spend a little time on, what happens when you don't do it right, when you get it wrong. But first, as always, I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening, Ed? Good morning, Daniel. Good. Jared, Dan, Bob. Yeah, new glasses, man. I got some blue light glasses over here, bro. I appreciate that. Appreciate the compliment. Trying to save my eyes a little bit. I spent a lot of time in front of the screen, so trying to save my eyes just a little bit here wearing these glasses. So Tammy Clark, good morning to you from the West Coast. Rick, good morning. Trudy, David, Bob and Cynthia, good morning to you guys. Todd and Gary, good morning to you guys. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys could share this out, I think that, a lot of business owners, a lot of people need to hear this message with regard to, what happens when you train people right? Because, for me, as all of I have a training company that I own and operate. And, really the power of training your people is why that training company was started in the first place, right? I saw just kind of an issue in our industry specifically, but in many different industries of, people probably not being trained properly. And, and that's not a knock on business owners. It's very difficult to juggle all the things that we have to juggle as entrepreneurs, and then also to create an environment that has a lot of training, that's sharing a lot of knowledge, things like that. So that was kind of my mission in Top Contractor School, was to try and add value to this particular area of every business and interacts with our company, and, to improve the ability for them to train their people, right? And as we provide more information and more strategies and more tips, those tips and things that we share with the business owners or the people who are engaged in our programs, those things kind of, make their way out. The ripple effect is significant into the businesses that actually interact with Top Contractor School. And so this is a passion for me, right? The power of training your people is absolutely real. It's one of those things that when you get it right, when you see those people who are poured into, who have the right values, align with the culture properly, and then are properly trained, what ends up happening is actually, it's surreal. It's magical. It's something that everybody aspires to have in their life. And in their business. And that is what we're here to talk about this morning. What happens when you're able to do this properly. So with that said, the number one thing I think that happens when you do this properly, when you pour into training, when you actually make it a priority in your company, and you have not only training, not only knowledge that can be shared, but you have an open line of communication, right? And that is, if you guys are taking notes this morning or you got your phone handy, that is the number one thing that you have to drive through every part of your company, and especially with new employees and training those new employees, is to make sure that there are open lines of communication. Because, no matter how hard we try, guys, every single individual is going to be different, right? And so the way that we train them, the way that we approach training them, the way that we communicate with them, the way that they view our company is all going to be unique, right? There's going to be some consistency there, but every individual is going to, learn a different way. There's unique characteristics about their experiences. And so, make sure that you're aware of those things. But the number one goal that we have when we are training people is not what we're teaching them just about business, but the number one goal, and that's why I show up here every single morning trying to deliver messages, is to improve people's lives, right? And I think that, a lot of times we're so focused on, transferring the knowledge, the business knowledge that exists, that we forget that the real goal of training anybody, of guiding anybody, of mentoring anybody, is to actually improve their lives, right? To make a positive impact on those people. And I say this, often inside of our business, but our number one goal inside of our business is to, leave people better than we found them, right? And hopefully those people that work for us in the different companies that I'm a part of and that we have, hopefully those people feel that, right? That their lives are better every single week that they stay with us. In some way, shape, or form, they're learning, they're growing, they're figuring out new things. They're seeing things from a more powerful and better perspective, but the number one goal in training anybody is to improve their lives. Now what happens as a result of making that the focus, right? There's obviously things that we have to teach people in the process of being able to make them useful, productive, and successful from a business standpoint, right? But the other side of that is that as you're doing that, those lessons that are taught for business, as you're doing that, if your, main focus, if your primary focus is on improving their lives and pouring into these people and really listening to them and really trying to show them the things that you're learning as you're learning them, and continuing to, create opportunities within your company to allow them to grow into them. What happens as a result of that is that you make very real connections, much deeper connections, much more authentic relationships, friendships, business relationships. All of that comes from, the foundational piece of really trying to make a positive impact on people's lives. Improving their lives creates a better connection for you. And as a result of that, what happens in your life, what happens in your business is that you create a much better culture. Now, there are always going to be symptoms of things that happen within a culture of a business as people are changing, as the business is evolving, that challenges that culture, right? Now, how honest you are as you work through those challenges is going to attach back to, how effective the training that you provide. Because isn't it true when you think about it, some of the training that you provide has nothing to do with what's written on a piece of paper, but it has to do more so with the example that you set. Are you actually living out the things that you say? And how often are you doing that? How often are you not lining up with the things that you say? Ultimately, are you practicing what you preach? Or are the things that you talk about that you expect from your employees just things that are in a handbook, but the actual company itself doesn't function that way? And if that's the case, then you have a very fractured culture that will continue to churn out people, right? And so, one of the symptoms of poor training is an unstable culture within the business, an unstable group of employees that don't really understand what the mission is at all. They don't really understand, what they're supposed to be doing. They're just taught how to do tasks, right? And so that is what we try to avoid every day. What we try to create as an environment is a place where, people feel heard, they feel seen, there's open communication. It doesn't always mean that we agree on everything, but it means that we are encouraged by the debate, the healthy conflict that comes along with disagreement, right? And so as we have disagreements, those disagreements eventually come to a resolution, and we grow through that, right? We grow through the ability of having those conversations. And so, training your people, and the reason that I say it starts with improving their lives, part of improving their lives and all the things that we're talking about here this morning, open conflict, having great communication, setting the right example. We can improve people's lives by being able to take those things home with them, right? And they become better husbands, better wives, better fathers, better mothers, right? And as a result of the training that they received at work, the example that's set by the mentors and leaders that they interact with 5+ days a week at work, right? Because the people that we work with become part of our personal culture. So the power of training your people, guys, is real. And, there's an old quote. I'm sure that most of you guys, if not all of you guys, have heard this one. But there's an old quote, and I can't remember who said it, but it says, what if we train them well and they leave? And the answer is, what if we don't train them and they stay? And so, I encourage you guys, regardless of where you are in a business structure, to make sure that, you are arriving every day at your office or your place of work, or maybe you're working from home at this point. But have in mind, what can you help us? What can you help someone with today? What impact can you make? What knowledge can you share that you have that somebody else might need? Because within a business, as we lift everybody up, as we start to train people on the things that maybe they don't know, or that, isn't really even their job responsibility, but as we include them in those conversations, as we improve somebody's skill set by teaching them things that they maybe don't know, they start to feel very connected to that business. They feel very connected to that culture. Your children at home, as an example of the family structure, as you include them in the things that are necessary to run your family, they're going to feel very worthy. They're going to feel a lot of self-confidence. They're going to feel part of what it takes to run that family. And so that is ultimately what we're trying to achieve here, guys, is to, train your people, because that makes them feel connected to the cause. Hopefully the cause is clear. Hopefully the impact that you're trying to make is clear within your business. It's clear within your family. What is it that you're trying to accomplish as a family? If you've never answered that question for yourself, it's a major pivot in the vision of your family, right? So I tried to repeat over and over and over again to our children that, when daddy is at work, I'm not just at work trying to make money. I'm at work trying to help people and try to make an impact. And so if I'm on the phone talking to someone, and so I explain those conversations of how we as a family are trying to help people. And that comes through the training of other people that are around me, right? And that training is not me training other people. It's an exchange of information. So, Keith Calloway Jr. is on here. When we have a conversation, there's never a conversation that I don't learn something and he doesn't learn something, and we learn from each other, right? That is the key to a successful relationship. Ryan Austin, same thing. We learn from each other. Every time we have a conversation, hopefully we're learning from both sides, right? We're learning from each other's experiences, from each other's challenges. And as we do that, and as we continue to pour into each other, as we continue to leverage the power of training our people, whether it's inside of our company or somebody outside of our company that we interact with that improves our lives, as we stay focused on impacting people, on really genuinely improving their lives, everything about our own lives gets better. Everything about the culture that exists around us gets a little bit better every single day. And it doesn't mean there won't be challenges. It doesn't mean there won't be, tough days and moments that that we're not happy about, or that are difficult, that are scary in some cases. But it means that as we repetitively train our people and we repetitively deliver that message of what it is that we're trying to accomplish and what impact we're actually trying to make, that we create a better world for these people to exist in. And we create the opportunities that everybody is looking for when it comes to a place they can be in business and in life. And when we create a better place for them to exist in business, we actually create a better life for everybody that's attached to that person outside of business. They're going to be better daughters, better sons, better uncles, better aunts, better friends to their friends outside of work, because they feel better about what they do at work. And so the power of training your people, guys, is real. And it's not just training them on tasks or training them on how to do a job. It's offering the knowledge and the wisdom and everything that we carry with us every day that maybe we don't share often enough. It's our responsibility to share that information and hopefully make an impact on as many people as we possibly can per day by just sharing what we know, by training each other, by creating a culture where people share information. So I hope this message hit home with some of you this morning. I hope it's a great reminder to, if you haven't done so recently, I know things get hectic, especially, in our industry this time of year, it's pretty hectic. It's pretty overwhelming at times. But if you haven't made that phone call to somebody to share some knowledge, to, offer your assistance with anything, to have a conversation, ask them if they're struggling with anything that maybe you can solve for them, do it today. Take a couple of minutes and do it, because I speak from experience, and I tell you guys this because of what it's done for my life. The power of helping people is the reason why I wake up so fulfilled every single day. And I want everybody to be able to experience that feeling as frequently as possible. I know that we all experience it at times. It has become part of the fabric of my life to have a company that helps people, that's focused on helping people and growing their businesses and creating a community that supports each other, that actually creates this environment of training. And that is probably one of the most rewarding things that I get to experience every single day, whether it's interacting with somebody on our team, helping a business owner with a challenge or a problem that they have. And when you're able to do that, you get off those phone calls or you leave those conversations with a lot of momentum, a lot of fulfillment, a lot of, just the feeling that this is what we're supposed to do in life. We're supposed to help people. Ryan Austin just started a podcast, The Power of Helping People. And, it's real, guys. As you do it, you will become addicted. And what a thing to be addicted to, right? What an idea to become addicted to. So I hope this message was helpful, guys. It certainly was helpful and a great reminder for me to, just do this as often as we possibly can, right? To to continue to try and raise the bar when it comes to the impact that we have, the information that we're able to share, and the wisdom that we seek out, so that we're able to transfer that wisdom to somebody else, and that is, I believe, what we're put on this earth to do. I think that's what God puts us here to do, is to help other people, to serve others. And I hope that today you guys will go out there and serve some people and really make an impact, really be able to see that ripple effect of what happens when you impact just that one person every single day. And if you can do that, man, you're going to leave an incredible legacy behind you of people that, have different lives, and children that have different lives because their parents have improved. And for me, that is the greatest feeling that I could ever have in the world, is to know that somehow you have some small impact on, a lot of people as a result of being able to, just share the knowledge and wisdom and things that you've learned along the way. And I hope that this message this morning inspired you guys to do that. So I will see you guys tomorrow morning, same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. Thank you guys for